Yeah, so here's these iridium plugs, NGK iridium. So DCPR 7E-IX. First impression I get is that it doesn't look like a particularly strong plug. It's got a very small electrode. They say that these things outlast normal spark plugs. This was a fair bit more expensive. It would have been unaffordable if I'd bought it here. I had to import these. If you look in the manual, a climber manual for a Harley Davidson XLH Sportster 86 to 2003, it specifies 0.97 to 1.09 millimeters. So in other words, 1 millimeter. Yeah, so I'm somebody that's had a 30-year break from having a regular ride on a motorbike. Various reasons. I'm just trying to get back into it now if I can just make my mechanical skills better. And my videos are more tailored toward people who aren't that familiar with motorbikes, non-expert people. So this is a 1 millimeter gap, and at the moment we've got about 0.3. Oh, I beg your pardon, that's inches. On the other side it's millimeters. That's what I'm used to working with, so I'll just continue working with that. I did do a stint in Canada when we were using imperial measurements for a year back in 1989, but I'll stick with the millimeters because that's what they use here. So looking at that, it winds up to about there. You want to be careful with these things because the electrode is very small. Okay, so these come standard with a 0.7 millimeter gap. 0.7. That's 6, and that's 8. Now I have referred to this manual, and the manual has been wrong or different to what's specified. So gee, I don't know, I might open it up just a little bit. The actual tip you may be able to see is tapered in on either side, so just on an angle. So I'm finding you can't actually grab it like that and bring it out because of the V, the tapered end, but I'm finding that if I clamp it on the front and the back like that, I can bring it out just a little bit. And just checking the gap now, and that's a little more than 1 millimeter. 1 millimeter is just there, so I'll close it up a bit. Okay, so that binds right on the 1 millimeter line there. So it seems good. So it's bent a fair way out. Okay, I've got the other spark plug now. So let's have a look. Again, that's a bit less than 0.7. So let's just see. Just open it up a little bit. Seems to need a little bit more. That's a very small electrode, really binds up on that the gap setter. It's going to be a bit too much, I think. So yeah, that's 1 millimeter there. So let's close it up a little bit. Yeah, okay, that's okay. 1mm. Now with that little electrode, if that's going to outlast a normal spark plug, I'll be a monkey's uncle. But we'll see. This timing plug arrived throughout the week. You can see there that it's fairly clear. It's got the thread there, and this sticks out far enough so that you can turn it. The other one just came to here. You wouldn't be able to turn it into the thread. But I think this is going to do the trick somehow. So yeah, it's the timing hole plug. Fair amount of oil around there. I had to file this down to make it smaller to fit in the plug. Okay, so just make sure this one fits the thread. This is the one that was specified. So let's try winding it in now. Okay, it seems good. So you can see the difficulty you'd have if this end bit was any smaller. You'd have difficulty winding that right in to seat against the flywheel. Okay, so that seems to be seating against the flywheel there. Seems to be all the way in. So yeah, that's good. I can get around the back of that and screw it fairly easily. Okay, so I know these tools work and they're good. So now I'll go up, log in, and give good feedback to the sellers. Okay, the iridium spark plugs cost $21.94. I think over in the UK, I'm not sure. Postage was $6.38, so that's $32 total delivered. This is from Bird's Bits. I think they're in Queensland. That's the timing plug, and that was $17.90 delivered. The spark plug gapper, I think that's here. I purchased that from. Okay, so that's $3.95 plus 2, $3.45, so $6. The James gaskets for the inlet were $26.90, and that's from Easy Rider. So if you want an expensive hobby, go out and get yourself a motorbike. So I'm doing this work with the expectation that one day, you know, the bike will be running well and I'll be able to use it for work. So if you remember in the previous videos, there's this connector that just goes nowhere at all. And it's just hanging up underneath the frame there. I've got it hooked up to a voltmeter. So I've just turned on the ignition key and I've got it hooked up to this this connector here, and I've got 57.2 or 57.2 volts. You know, the only thing that I can think of is the previous tank may have had a like a dashboard of some sort, and that was the connector, maybe. So I can't do much this weekend. I'm waiting for the inlet seals to come in the mail. They'll be here next week, but until they come I can't reassemble the engine and test it, so just looking at the carburetor. Or as my you know, gold mining ancestry, you know, Scotch-Irish ancestors would have called it a carburetor. So there's this air fuel mixture here, the air fuel mixture screw. Now I thought that it was wound in too far, but because it's on the air side or the inlet side, that means it's regulating the airflow, and so if it was wound in, it'd be too lean, so that's a bit concerning when my engine's in fact running too rich. I had to cut a slot in this one because it was sort of de-threaded a bit. So that's how I deal with this particular one, and the rest just screw out. Okay, so there's their fuel mixture there. All I can really do is just take the screw out and blow out the passages. If you didn't watch the previous video, there's a documentation of me just taking the cap off. This is actually underneath an aluminium cap, and you have to expose the screw. So I'm told this is 1 3/4 out from seating, 1 3/4 turn. Whether that's accurate or not, you'll have to do your own research. So I'll just unwind that out, just to see the health of the or how clean it is. It's got a very fine tip on the end. So my guess, because I can see right through there, I can see sort of light in behind here, my guess is that that regulates the airflow. Yeah, that regulates the airflow. I'm not sure, but if you can, there it is, you can see through. When I put my finger behind there, I can actually block off the light. So the passage, there's a very small hole there, and that's where the fuel comes out. I'll just demonstrate that now. That's where the air fuel mixture came out of, and so yeah, maybe it'll show up better the opposite way, turned upside down. So I'm just going to blow into the air fuel mixture area there. I think the reason it's hard to demonstrate the flow out is because the particles in this can, in this solution, are too big. So I go the opposite way. I'll spray from the top down. Where are we? Okay. You may be able to see a mist coming out of there now. When I get the air fuel mixture screw, as I say, it's got a very fine end, very small end on it. When I turn it, I come out with this soot on my fingers, so it definitely wasn't cleaned. Yeah, it definitely wasn't clean, eh? Try that again. This is a fairly important part of the carburetor. Okay, when it does seat, be careful not to turn it anymore. Just feel lightly for it to seat. Okay, that's seated there. Now I believe it's 1 3/4 turn, so that's 1 1/4, quarter, quarter. That's it. Now I'm not sure if that's accurate or not, but you want to really look into that to make sure 1 3/4 out is correct. But that's where I'm going to start. Just going to put a little bit of motor oil, just hoping that it'll act as some type of a seal on the rubber gasket.